It looks as if we're live.
Okay. Going to your channel here. Boom.
Yes, we are.
Oh, yeah.
Looks as if we're live. Bring that down. I don't want to do a Steve Fever. He's on his phone.
Get off the phone.
Phone.
I'm posting the link in Discord.
Awesome.
YouTube.
We're live, as Greeno says, and we're live.
Yeah.
I'd like to welcome you to channel Bizzarro, everybody. And we're back again. It's been a little while since we've had our Bizzarro chill sessions. Mr. Bananas here. He's from Grown Man Record Night.
Hey, everybody.
He's been kind enough to come by and spend a little time with us here. And he's going to show us some doom and some stoner. And we're going to have a little talk back and forth.
Don't you talk back to me.
Don't you get sassy now, boy. So I hope everybody's doing okay. I know it's great to hear that Mikey's dad's doing okay.
Yeah, man.
He's had the long road here, but he's fighting hard and he's doing good. Got to give it to that old Southern blood.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, it's been a long ass road, man. But it's things are starting to get a little more back to normal. He may be getting around better than he did previous to the heart attack, actually. So it's good to see. Things are kind of, I can kind of we can take a collective breath, and it's been tough to chill here recently. You know what I mean? When you get time on the weekends to kind of hang out, I feel bad, like, having a good time. And I know my pops is like, going through it, so starting to feel like it's okay to have a good time again. You know what I mean? And that feels nice.
That's great, man. And I'm glad you took a little time out. I know because you're popping on, you got a lot of stuff going on with the family.
Yeah.
So thanks for coming by, man.
Absolutely.
We got, let's see real quick. We got Mick in here.
Oh, what's up, Mick?
What's happening, Mick? How you doing, bud?
Freddie Dobalina.
I know we got Fred in here. Fred said he might be working, but he's got the phone in his pocket, so he'll be listening.
Shit, he ain't working. What's he talking about?
Fred, he don't work. He claims he works like most people. Work. You got to do this. When
That's it.
He's got to do that.
That's it.
So, yeah. So, since you are our guest, why don't you start us off tonight, and let's see what kind of doom or stoner or anything otherwise you want to get us into.
It's funny, man. I was trying to think today, like, what how did I start going down this road of stoner doom stuff? I listened to a lot of, like most guys, Metallica, Anthrax, Slayer, that kind of shit, like back in the day. And then that transitioned into like grunge, and then eventually I got into like death metal and heavy, crazy shit. And I don't know, somewhere along the way, like when I was playing in bands and stuff, got into somehow like Caius came into the mix. And I was like, oh, what is this now? Between like Caius and Clutch, they just had a type of riffage as a guitar player that I just I liked. It seemed simple, which was good for me because I'm no fucking shredder. I feel like I can write a riff as good as anybody, but I am no shredder by any stretch of the imagination. And that really appealed to me some way. And I didn't pull any Caius out tonight, but I was just, and as we started going down this road, I started thinking about how this even came about. And it's kind of hard to remember how I started going down this rabbit hole of stoner doom stuff and how I've gotten so obsessed with it over the last few years. But I really have been obsessed with it and been really enjoying it. And it's fun to delve into like a new genre to where you feel like a baby again, where you're just still trying to figure shit out. And I like that about it. And that there's a cool underground scene about it. And if you're into groups or like Facebook groups or, YouTube stuff, you'll find stuff that people recommend and you're like, oh, this band's out of like Greece or whatever. And you're like, fuck, what, I love that vibe about it. So I don't really have any particular order of anything I've got. Just kind of pulled some stuff and some stuff I thought would be a little not straight down the middle in terms of, I didn't pull any Caius. I didn't pull any Elder actually, which is probably my favorite band, but I can pull some out later. I don't know. But I'll start with, I think I may have showed you this band last time I was on. I can't remember, but it's worth mentioning again, especially if we got people on that've never seen it. Got a figure out where my camera placement is. Shooting Guns. The name of this is Flavor Country. This is a Canadian band, purely instrumental. It's a mix. It's a fantastic mix. And if you really think about this juxtaposition, it's stoner rock mixed with the motoric beats of krautrock. And I'm like, I like krautrock. I mean, I love krautrock, and I love stoner rock, obviously. So these two things mixed together, it's like peanut butter and jelly, man. It's just got that that's the constant motoric beats with like some gnarly fuzzy riffs to go with it. This Riding Easy, it's on some orange wax. Pick this up. They were having one of their legendary for those little $10 sales they do, and it's so kick ass, and it's good to just put on the background. It's good working music, you know what I mean? It's just got that constant pace that makes you just want to like do shit. But one I was kind of familiar with. These guys have done some soundtrack work as well. Worth checking out. Give them a little stream or something, and you can pick this up kind of cheap. Like I said, I picked this up $10 from the Riding Easy website. Good stuff. $10, and kind of a low key sleeper, man, for sure.
Now, have you played that on the show?
I have, and I realized I played the shit out of it when I first got it, and I think and I do that sometimes where I'll play stuff too much, like right when I first get it. Then I realize, like, yeah, I'm digging this, but somebody may be sick of hearing the same shit 6 times in a row. But whatever. But so I filed it away, and it's one of those. I'm like, oh yeah, man, Shooting Guns. It's probably been 6 months since I played it at least. So I thought about it last night, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to play it. I chose not to play it last night because I wanted to talk about it tonight. Because I would have ended up talking about it last night. Then I was, I want to blow my wad one day before. So
it's interesting because I probably would have asked you to play that with some banana bucks.
Oh, there you go.
I didn't know you had it.
It's good stuff.
On that note, I did the exact opposite. I picked something on your show with the expressed intent of talking about it right now. And that's the Randy Holden Population 2. It's another Riding Easy release, man.
Yeah.
And from Blue Cheer fame, Randy played that clear acrylic guitar.
Yeah.
The most intense trills and the whammy bar action he does is just intense. I think the only guy I know that's actually been able to do that faster is the G.M.R.N fella from the Airplane. He used to do that super fast thing.
Yeah,
it's killer, man. So I was really happy to get this. This is actually something I found because of your show. I didn't even know. I knew of the
really?
Yeah, I had no idea this album actually existed on LP. I've heard it through the Blogspot, like at least 20 years ago in Blogspots. But I didn't know this existed until you played it on Grown Man Record Night.
Cool.
And having said that, I'd like to tell you I have the extremely rare signed version.
Yeah.
And I think the number is 382. So eat your heart out, man.
Now, what color variant is yours?
Oh, well, this isn't clear like yours. This is just a black one. I couldn't.
Yeah, that's what mine is.
Black. Somebody mentioned.
It's funny. I mentioned this last night on the show, but like right when it came out, I don't know if you know the story. Do you follow or are familiar with Dylan at Noble Records?
Not enough to know what you're talking about. No, I don't know.
Dylan he's got a fantastic monster YouTube channel with a bazillion subscribers and people. I mean, he runs a record store outside of Charlotte here in North Carolina. He's about an hour and some change from here, and gets some incredible stuff. And he's just a real honest to goodness fan of records. He's like runs the shop the way you want to run it. You know what I mean? He runs the shop like a record collector, not like a business mogul kind of thing, but he Double B and Zepp's in here too, man.
What's happening, man?
But the story is he is the one that connected Randy with the guy from Riding Easy that owns the label. He's friends with the guy from Riding Easy, and somehow struck up a conversation with Randy and connected those guys. And that's how this repress came about. And to that point, Riding Easy did a chunk of these issues, the yellow versions. And I think that was exclusive to Noble Records, maybe like just that record store, if I'm not mistaken. And we've talked back and forth. He's a great guy. And he said he would hold me one. And I was like, I don't, I was playing. Don't do that, because I really appreciated it, but I was like, I don't do that, and then now I'm like, oh fuck, I wish I would have let him do that and go down there and get the thing. I haven't been down to the store. I really need to. Actually, I'm on vacation like in 2 weeks. So what I need to do is go down to Noble Records, because some of the stuff he pulls out, man, he's got some killer records. He's got some killer taste, and that makes all the difference.
Now, the Noble press, was that prior to Riding Easy?
No, it's a color variant that Riding Easy did just for him.
Okay, it's just for his shop. He has a shop.
Yeah, it was just for him. I think, and I may be speaking out of school here, but I think they did it as an homage or a thank you for connecting them with Randy. And that's how this. And some of this came about because there was a large collection of boots of this record for a long time, of varying quality, and I think that's also why they decided for Randy to sign like all the copies. That way, it's like a real deal or whatever. So it's yeah,
very cool. Any idea how many of them he had pressed?
I'm not sure. I could actually look that up. When you show the next one, I'll look that up.
Okay. Well, you're up.
Okay. I'll pull this one out. This is a little going back to the 90s. A band I ran into. Actually, I ran into this band because we played a show with them. My former band, the 5Ls. We were opening for CKY, the Bam Margera's brother from Jackass. That CKY, I love CKY. It was a fantastic show. Those guys were really cool. But they brought a band with them called Karma to Burn, and this is Karma to Burn's first album. I think it's from like '97 or something like that. The glare on this thing is terrible. But these guys are out of West Virginia, instrumental stoner rock, and I had no idea who they were before we played with them. So it was like us, and then Karma to Burn, and then CKY. And so after we got done playing, these guys were on, and I was like, "Holy shit, man!" They looked way different than everybody else. Let me show you. So when everybody's looking like, I don't know, like thugged out G's and stuff, they look like good old redneck boys. Curvy ass bills on their hats, bent, pulled down low like this, jeans and a t-shirt, up on stage like this, and loud as fuck. These guys were so loud. And they were just kind of playing their music. They didn't really talk to the crowd much. They didn't really play up to anything. They just fucking let it fly. And I'm like, who the hell are these guys? And I remember figuring out they were Karma to Burn, and I was like, wow, that really stuck with me. And then this popped up in a local record shop, and I'm like, oh man, this is awesome. So it's on Metal Blade Records, like I said, like 90. This says 96. I think it was actually released in 97. But I think it's a 2014 reissue of this, but killer stuff, mostly instrumental. Although on this initial disc, there is some singing on this, and I do prefer the instrumental stuff from them. But I mean, even the singing's not. I mean, it's not that off-putting or anything. It's a double LP, really kick-ass stuff, and it's really cool. They're from. A lot of people said that they have that like desert vibe to them, but they're from the mountains of West Virginia, right up near Greeno's way, actually. So it's very cool just to hear that. They were killer, man.
Yeah, I'll tell you, they've got one of the tightest rhythm sections. The drums and bass is to fucking die for, man.
Absolutely,
they're tight.
What you got coming next?
All right. Let's see. What's up, Charlie? Charlie went on some stream earlier, and he tried to do a promo for somebody. I'm not going to mention any names, but he's going to need a more stable connection if he's going to try to promote channels. I appreciate what you tried to do, Charlie, but that was cringeworthy shit, man. I love you anyway. I still love you, Charlie. Don't you go nowhere.
That
Anyway,
that yellow version has 200 copies, by the way.
200 copies.
Doesn't mention Noble in the thing. So I mean, I may have just been talking out of my ass. I don't fucking know. But
now I wonder how far that they actually made it out of the area. Have you ever looked on Discogs or on eBay to see if there's any of those around?
that's what I'm looking right now. There's 3 for sale for $30. I wonder, like, let's see where they're at. United States. Let's see. It doesn't really say. It just says United States. But yeah, I'm not really sure. But 200 copies, and it's funny because talking about this is something. It's not exclusive to like Stoner Doom community, but something I've realized that this community does a lot is doing these very limited color variant pressings, which creates it's a twofold thing they do. It creates a super collectible, highly sought after color variants because there's only 50, there's only 100. But what it's also doing is protecting their ass, since it's not the fucking Rolling Stones. They don't know how many they're going to sell. So if you do like 200 in yellow and then you sell 200, you're like, oh, okay, cool. Well, let's do another 200 in pink. Oh, those sold out too. And you just keep doing that. That way you're covering your ass. You're not going to be stuck with a warehouse full of shit you can't get rid of,
You're right. You're right. Who does that a lot is Brant.
Yeah. Yep.
Brant Bjork does that. Granted, he'll do it at the same time and give you a bunch of variants to choose from, but they're always really low. It starts with like promo and like test pressings, and then a promo, and then a gray, and then a green, and then a swirl, and a splatter, and they're always 150, 250, maybe 350, depending on what you get. Now, I don't know if that lends itself to an instant collectible per se, as far as he's concerned, but it does lend itself to many choices as far as.
I mean, look at Sleep's Dope Smoker. How many color variants there are? It's insane, and some of them are way more collectible than others, just by the nature of how many there are, or whatever.
And I'd actually like to know which ones they are, because that bring that up. And this is one of the latest. This is the Weedian green. Remember the Weedian? Yeah, had a Hashishian variant.
Mine is the Indica green.
Yeah.
And I also have a picture disc that was sent by DJ Thunder.
Yeah, so I wanted to show Wretch. Wretch is definitely prototypical Doom. This fella Carl, the singer, he's kind of the anchor of the band. He came from a band called the Gates of Slumber, and I played these guys a lot, and I've talked about the Gates of Slumber a lot. Long hooking riffs, incredibly intense guitar tones, driving drum beats, and bass out the fucking ass.
Wow.
I mean, window shaking, that concert experience where you feel it going through your chest. If you got the right system, this will deliver. Very, very good shit. I love Wretch. I couldn't even tell you where I learned of Wretch. Just one of those kind of chance meetings, I suppose. This is a cool one. This is on, I believe they call this bone. It's not white. It's not like a linen. They call it a bone white.
Bone.
One of my
penis.
I said bone. I'm glad I didn't say nuts or ass. So yeah, that's one of my favorite all-time Doom, relatively modern Doom albums.
Do you find yourself gravitating more toward the stoner side of the stuff or the Doom side of stuff? Or is it just kind of situational?
I think it is situational, and it really does have to do with who you're going to pull and what it is you want to hear. Yeah. You can either go straight in for Brant and you get nothing but Brant the whole time, or like a kind of an odd example would be that Hum album, the Inlet album I was telling you about, and I'll show that a little bit later, Inlet. There's a combination of vibes on that album, and it ranges from that standard melancholic kind of Rob Crow type of lyrical situation, and it flows up and down into very, very hard Doom riffs, like very accentuated doom riffs. Like that's what really struck me about that album is how versatile it is and how it's complete yin and yang in the same exact thing, but it maintains the flow the whole way through. So that kind of thing is situational, as you said. Yeah, depending on what it is you want to hear.
Because doom, I mean, even by the nature of what it is kind of gloomy, and if you're having a barbecue and you're like hanging with friends and having a good time, I mean, putting on some thick, gnarly, soul crushing doom is not always the play. Like I always said, like Brant Bjork specifically is like that's what I would put on at like throwing some burgers on the grill on a summer afternoon. It's late summer afternoon kind. It's got that hangout vibe to it, and it's funny because the stoner moniker is kind of bullshit anyway, because it's a weird thing to put over a whole genre of music that really, there's a stereotypical sound for that, but it really goes, I mean, all the way from Yawning Man to Sleep. I mean, those are two very different bands, you know what I mean? But still get lumped into that stoner thing. But I think that also kind of speaks to the overall vibe that you can get out of music that sounds so different,
Absolutely. And they're all in a way sharing essentials. So
yeah,
that is where it ends up being palatable for me across such a long, stream of different kinds of bands and music.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, hit us up, man. What you got next?
Well, since we let's see, more on that doom side, a band I've actually seen live. Excuse me, Monolord, another Rod and Easy band. This is, I think, there's a second record, Veneer. I've got the first one as well, Empress Rising. I actually bought Empress Rising at the show.
Oh yeah.
But Veneer is the first one I picked up, and absolute soul crushing riffs. And it's kind of a theme for some of the stuff I pulled. Sweden. So many of these bands come from Sweden, and I don't know what it is with that culture or whatever, but they love a thick, fuzzed out guitar there. I don't know what it is, man. And they do it right. Aside from like the desert scene, the Palm Desert scene in California, they've got probably the biggest scene of that kind of stuff going on. But anyway, Monolord was really killer live, really loud, and a lot of fun. This got me hooked. This is the first one I picked up and was absolutely killer stuff. I don't know if is this Lookout anything? This may not be on any kind of funky color or anything. I can't remember.
How reminiscent is that to Empress Rising? That was kind of my entry in to the band, and I've been wanting to go backwards, but I haven't really delved too deep into their old stuff. Empress Rising seems like a high watermark for me, but I don't know enough about their past catalog to know for sure.
These two are very similar, I think. I don't think there's really too much of a difference there. Some of the more recent stuff, Rust is good, and I don't own any further down the catalog for the simple fact I'm just a cheap ass, and for whatever reason it's just kind of eluded me, and I've opted to go for other things at that particular time. No real reason, but they had a record I think came out this past year, and I do that. Actually, I should have pulled some Paul Bearer. I love Paul Bearer, and they have these new records out and they're phenomenal, and I just don't buy them. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with me. I just haven't bought them. But I've been in a different headspace, and I do that collecting. This, like, the stoner doom vibe is like my warm, cozy blanket. It's what I always come back to. It's what I'm the most comfortable. It's one of the most things I'm the most comfortable talking about, because a lot of times, and the VC people showing records, I feel like an idiot. Like, I love jazz and I like talking about jazz, but I don't have the knowledge of a lot of people in terms of different players and stuff. Same with like 80s metal. I've started really going back down and going through 80s metal stuff, but when I'm like talking to Metal Theologian, he there's such a wide, he has such wide range of knowledge on this stuff that it's I don't want to. He's not intimidating, but like just kind of jumping into that realm is a little intimidating. But I think stoner doom is always my warm, cozy blanket. So anyway, the point of that is I've been kind of going down some other collector holes, like 80s metal, some punk rock stuff, but I always come back to Stoner Doom. And if I see something in the shop, I'm like, oh, I gotta more about that later, because I did pick up a couple of things here recently that's really awesome.
Okay, cool. What I like about Aaron is, first of all, we share the same name, so how fucking cool.
Yeah.
You got to be cool if you're named Aaron, right, Aaron Griffin?
That's right.
But the other thing I like about Aaron is all his vast intelligence aside, he has a way with not making you feel like you're a fucking moron.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people like to talk down to you and fill your head with a bunch of information. You don't really need to kind of get you swimming in fucking retarded information. But Aaron, he kind of feeds it to you gently, maybe spoon by spoon, just so you don't want to feed the baby too much. They'll choke, you know. You get a little bit on the spoon.
Yeah, it's funny. I'll watch like one of his videos or Marty Worm or something, who I love Marty too. And like, and I told Aaron this. I was like, man, you guys are some of the only dudes I'll watch an entire video, and I will not have known one single fucking band you guys have mentioned the entire time. And I still sit here and watch it. I'm like, and I'm like writing shit down. I go Google stuff, but literally not one band. Which is pretty crazy.
You got to write it down quick with Aaron. We share links occasionally, and he'll send me stuff. Like he sent me something a little while back. Kale Vala.
Mm-hmm.
Kale Vala. He sends me some really cool shit. Some of the stuff I like, some of the stuff I don't. But that's neither here nor there. I send him shit. I'm sure he hates 90% of it.
Now he's a Yankee. He talks fast, you know.
He is a Yankee. Bless his soul. So let's. Am I up next?
Yeah, man.
Okay. Let's move on. A little die cut action. Here's another.
Oh.
This is Stoner
Dude.
This is Egypt. This took a long time for me to find. This is one of the original presses, but this is real die cut. It's very, very fragile.
I'm really jealous of this.
I was very happy to get this. And of course, Aaron Esterby, he's the driving force behind another Aaron. There's another Aaron right here running this shit, Egypt. He sings and plays the bass, did a lot of the writing and stuff. But I was really happy to have this.
What is the original's the one that has the die cut?
There were represses that were done subsequently, but yes, there was an original run that looked exactly the same. Cool. And then he came out with a run that had, I think, 2 or 3 different backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
So when you slip this out,
Yeah. I've actually never seen that. I've only seen the white with the black bird on it.
Yeah, this is just the black. I had my choice at the time. They had, I think, red and yellow, possibly blue, and it's just black. But this is straight up Doom Stoner. Very, very slow.
I was sad when these guys, right about the time where I really got turned on to these guys, they broke up. I was like, oh, damn it. But funny stories, like not long after I learned about Egypt and kind of got into them, I was filling up my gas tank at let's see, there's a picture of let me see this. I've just been handed this breaking news. If you guys can make heads or tails of this. We're on drugs, but
what's the reference there? I missed it. You don't know?
You got me.
All right.
But
maybe a dick pic next time. Shake it up.
The Egypt thing. I was filling up my gas tank, and it's kind of a hippie looking cat was filling up his tank, and I looked over, and he had an Egypt sticker on the back of his car, and I'm like, no, the band. And I actually went over to him, and I was like, hey man, like, you're an Egypt fan? And he was like, oh yeah, man. And we sat there and talked at the gas pump for 5 minutes about Egypt. And I'm like, I would have never done that with probably most bands in the world. I would have been like, oh bro, you got a Nirvana sticker, right on. I like Nirvana. For whatever reason, that made me strike up a conversation. Anyway, that's my Egypt story.
I've got a few stickers, but the way the things are with the world right now, I was kind of a little freaked out to put it on the back of my truck. I want some good old boy fucking shooting a rocket at my truck when I'm riding by.
Go back to Islam, boy.
Be like, it's a band. It's
yeah. That's tough.
Yeah, well, good story.
What's up, Fred?
That's interesting. Fred claims he's working.
Yeah.
I highly doubt it. I think he's home eating fucking ice cream.
You know, hey, I'll show a die cut thing since you showed a die cut.
Okay.
Boom.
Oh yeah.
Boris, the Pink album from 2005. This is the repress that's got the in the die cut pink box, which is beautiful and a real fucking pain in the ass to deal with. To actually put a record on, and it's nothing super special about the wax. It's black and cool labels and stuff, but what a pain in the ass to. And I'm always scared. I have no business buying collectory records because I'm gonna fuck them up. I drink too much. We party too much over here to oh, be careful. And this is the corner. I ain't careful with nothing, man. You only live once. I try to be careful, but I know what happens over here. But
you got your cats too.
And the cats. I mean, look.
Oh my god!
It's just why I have this. I have a glass door right here because the bottom of these.
I thought it was so you don't get COVID. I thought so you don't get COVID on your records,
dude. I mean, they have ruined so many goddamn records. But anyway. This is probably my favorite Boris, one of my favorite Boris, and it's just more.
How do I make you big? I want to make you big. How the fuck do I do that?
Make me big, baby.
Solo, I wonder if a solo layout effect is going to kick you on. Let me try it. Hold on.
Okay.
Let's see what happens. Let's do a little test. Hey, there he is. Okay.
Sorry, I'm not frozen.
Wait, he's frozen.
But yeah, this is probably my favorite Boris overall. And they're funny because they actually got their name from a Melvin song, and so a lot of that in the sludge realm more so than stoner, but they have a lot of stoner stuff, a lot of doom stuff. They're also huge fans of Sun, and so there's a lot of drone metal stuff on this stuff. More so not on this one as much. I'll go ahead and do this one too, but I waited for this one for fucking ever, man. Amplifier Worship. This is such a killer record,
dude.
Thick and gnarly songs. All the songs are like this is a double LP, and there's 5 songs on here.
Did it come with the pube you just pulled off the top of it?
I can't really get into that. But little gatefold, nothing super special on the gatefold. Pretty cool, but like actually the back gatefold is cooler than that.
Yeah.
But I waited on this. I bet I streamed this album 50 times on YouTube before. I think these actually came out on Third Man, these reissues. Third Man Records, Jack White's joint. And of course they sound incredible. Everything from Third Man's pretty damn legit.
Is it?
But everything that I've pulled out of there has been pretty decent. So really happy to finally score that, man.
Yeah, that's great. I remember, of course, the first time I heard Boris at all was on your channel, Grown Man.
Is that right?
Grown Man Record Night, by the way, is they're on every Friday. They come on Twitch about 7, 8 o'clock to midnight, and then midnight over to YouTube, and then simultaneous to Twitch and YouTube. So make sure you check those guys out.
That's it. Yeah, we've been trying to do the show a little earlier because we realize we pick up a few more folks if we do it that way. Sometimes we do, but it depends on if we all get over here and we've all played all our records. But sometimes Steve can't get over here a little later, and I don't want to be like you play one record and be like, all right, dude, let's sit down. We're doing the show. Sit down. Fuck, it's 10:30. Let's go. But so we're floating. It's a fluid situation.
It's got to be fluid. Be water, my friend. So, but what I remember the most from that album is there was I think a last track where it's just a bunch of fucking noise. I mean, right by the end of that record, you're just about to rip what's left of your hair out.
Yeah. It's a sometimes thing, and it's not something you want to. Again, if you're having a barbecue, or we call them cookouts down here, it's probably not something you're going to want to put on for everybody. Your fucking aunt and uncle come over and you're like, oh, let me put some music on. That's probably not the play. But anyway.
Charlie, I don't know why I completely believe that statement.
Yeah.
I think it's more like 5:30 or 6.
He was watching it with me. That's why.
Bill Dance, baby.
Yeah.
Hey, Bill Dance is going to show you how to take a fucking treble hook out of your hand right after he sets it in his hand for you.
Dude, I will say last night I had kind of an epiphany as we're sitting here wrapping the stream up. It was really late, 4 a.m, whatever. And I'm playing Aphex Twin on the new Aphex Twin record I got yesterday. Crazy IDM stuff. while a compilation of 80s fishing commercials is playing. It was the juxtaposed of I was just sitting here like it was nuts. It was nuts. But I love some old fishing commercials, man.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, hell yeah. All right, cool. So next up, we talk about how Wino and the Obsessed and Hidden Hand and all kind of carried the mantle for Sabbath while I was just kind of over in the corner, not really doing a whole lot. And then a band like this kind of comes along.
Oh, yeah.
And, Reinvent is a bit strong. I'm going to say Homage, or they do such a good job at being Sabbath without being Sabbath. They like lots of good younger bands, they've compiled their sound from lots of different sounds that they've obviously enjoyed through their lives. So you don't just hear Sabbath, you hear Grand Funk, and you hear Uriah Heep, and shit, you might even hear some Merciful Fate depending on what type of vocal layering you're listening to. But these guys really lay it out well. Early on, they laid it out well. They've gotten really fucking watered down and pretty fucking lame in my opinion. But this first
they have a bunch of records out.
They do, and they've gotten more convoluted and more polished and poppy, and it's just so poppy now. This is not poppy. This is when they were trying to do something, and they managed to do it, and subsequently managed to do it for a couple more albums, and then it got really washed out. But this is really good, man. This is, you can't tell, but it's on Purple. So
okay.
It's Purple E. I think they have a new name for that nowadays. They call them like a Galaxy variant. Like I have a King Buffalo one that you can't see through until you hold it up to the light. Mm-hmm. They call it a Galaxy variant. It's just kind of an oddball record that, isn't here nor there.
I think Mel Theologian had the greatest comment about bands like that, and I got something to follow that up with, actually right on the money with what you're talking about. He said that some of these bands, and that's an interesting little subgenre of stoner doom stuff, is these kind of 70s hard rock homage bands. And he made the point that there is this fine line of giving a tribute to that hard and heavy 70s sound and that vibe, and you take one step over and you're corny as fuck, where you're like, oh, we dress like we're in the 70s, bro, and you're like, it's like too far, and you're like playing a character and it's stupid. And but some of these bands really do it right, and it really feels genuine. And one of those I found, another one of those $10 Rod and Easy sales, is a band, Slow Season. Oh yeah. If you guys have ever checked out Slow Season, what's the band that came out that everybody said sounded like Zeppelin, had just like a chick's name?
You mean like late 80s?
No, right recently. Everybody lost their shit over it.
Oh,
Fever bought some of it.
Yeah.
Here's what the cat.
They claim that they didn't sound like them at all. It was an accident. Yeah.
See that? See what my cat does right there? Yeah. Greta Van Fleet. So here's the thing. Those guys, I mean, they sound good, but they sound exactly like Zeppelin, and it's like, but it just wasn't for me. It was to me, that's that line over into corny territory. You know what I mean? This band, to me, sounds a lot like Zeppelin, but they do it the right way. It's kind of that homage, like you said, carrying the torch. These guys kind of seem like they're carrying the torch, more so than just putting on an act or like a tribute band. I mean, fuck, Fever's in a Zeppelin tribute band. I mean, if you're going to be in a tribute band, just call it what it is. Go play Zeppelin songs. Yeah. But these guys kind of do it in the right way. This was a hell of a $10 pickup, man, for sure. But yeah, killer stuff, man.
I should have brought you up.
That's all right. I'll show it again. But
I'm not being a good host. I did not inflate you on command. There it is.
But yeah, I don't think this is any kind of special. That's just old black, kind of boring center labels, but whatever. Who gives a shit? I don't buy records for that. I promise you.
You don't buy them for their integrity and their.
It's like, the crazy. crazy splatter and the inner labels are all fucking. Like I don't do all this shit.
Yeah. Put it on my VPI. I think VPI. I think 800 albums I could have. That's what I think when I hear a V. You want to get a VPI? I think I could have 700 albums for a VPI machine, and I'll just wash them in the sink.
Again, I know what's going to happen to most of my records. Either I'm going to fuck them up or my cats are going to fuck them up. So what's the point? And you know what? Then I'll go buy them again, and there'll be a story to tell about it. I hate to say that because I'm not careless with them.
They'll shred them and make bedding out of them.
Yeah. But whatever, man.
And then you can use it for kindling when you're cremated.
That's true. Oh, there we go. I want to be burned with my records. I don't want anybody else to get them.
Dude, vinyl burns forever.
Yeah.
That's an interesting point. What you just said again. Say it again.
Want to be burned with my records.
Right. You want nothing to remain when you die, right?
Nobody gets shit.
I said the same fucking thing, dude.
Really?
I said this to the lady. I says, when I die, I'm dropping a fucking match right next to me. And this whole fucking place is going to go up in a ball of flames.
It is funny because I did say it one time, and I've had conflict. I'm pretty serious about making sure that records don't go to waste, and because I know what it's the feeling I've gotten from going into a Goodwill and you find some jazz records, and you're like there's like 3 impulse in a row and then a couple of blue notes, and I'm like, there's a jazz cat that died, and his family didn't know what to do, and they all came to Goodwill, and now it's like I don't take that lightly. Now it's my responsibility to take care of these things, bring them home with me, and make sure they don't get tossed around or some jerk off buys them because they think it's cool and try to flip them or whatever. It's coming home with another collector. Right. So I thought maybe when I die, I was like, wouldn't it be cool if I knew it would work out right to put all my stuff into select Goodwills, and so other collectors find them like I did for $1, and they don't sell them. Now, I guess my family would probably be like, what the fuck are you doing? Some of this shit's worth a lot of money, but it would be kind of cool to be able to pass that along, and much some of the ways that I found the stuff for $1, but maybe that's just a pipe dream.
Now, what happens to the lovingly cared for records that fall behind your dryer?
That's a good question.
All right. Now, having said that, I thought about what I maybe could do is I'll use all my jackets and sleeves to cremate my body. But I'll use all the vinyl and have them melted and formed into a casket.
Oh, now we're talking.
And I'll literally be buried in all my music.
Man,
what do you think?
We're talking. That's not bad.
That's a new business idea. You cannot steal that now. That's my idea. I'm writing it down. Hold on. I'm pretending writing it down.
Poor man's trademark.
Okay. Next up is, it's quintessential doom. It's in the fucking name. Epicus Doomicus, dude. Come on. Can you get more doom than that? Candlemass, or as we used to call them when I was little, candle ass. And we go,
huh?
That's funny. Then your mom would go, you saying bad words up there, boy? Epicus Doomicus. I just got this a few years ago. I've never had it.
I've never owned any Candlemass.
Honestly, let me be completely honest while I inflate myself. I'm going to tell you that I wasn't really into this kind of stuff when I was young.
Mm-hmm.
My brother was an extremely strict metalhead, and he didn't like me listening to anything that would sully his reputation in town as the consummate musician and weed dealer. He'd sell you two joints for $3 or 3 for $5.
It's fair.
But he wouldn't let me listen to a lot of shit. We had bedrooms right across from each other, and when he'd hear things like, let's say, Kings of Rock, right? Remember Run DMC, that one?
Oh yeah,
fucking badass, Kings of Rock. What was the other one he hated? Rat, Out of the Cellar. He'd hear lack of communication, and he'd come in and just about break my fucking radio over my head.
That's funny.
But I didn't get to really listen to this kind of stuff when I was younger, and that's things like just everyday stuff. Queensryche, like I was not allowed to like Queensryche.
Huh.
Yeah, so I fell into that stuff a lot later in life.
So he was more like a thrash guy?
He was heavy metal, thrash. If it wasn't in that vein and wasn't music, he was in thrash bands and metal bands, so.
Cool.
That whole thing.
We got a question here from VC Thunderdome. First of all, what's up, bro? He says, do either of us like Crip Sermon? Actually, I've heard that name, but I'm not really familiar with him.
Yeah, why don't you tell us about him, Dome? Maybe you'll play him on your next stream. What about what's up with the Dome? I haven't seen anybody in the literal Dome per se yet. I hear people are being beckoned to the Dome to fight.
Huh?
I haven't seen anybody in the Dome yet. So, I don't know. I hope the Dome works out.
Maybe it's beyond Thunderdome.
Way beyond, like in another county. Yeah. The county beyond Thunderdome. So,
hell yeah.
Yeah, you're up, brother.
Okay, let's see.
I only have like 64 left. So
okay. I got a big stack, so we can cut it off whenever we want. But
absolutely, yeah.
This was my running. Actually, last night I said Casket Huffer. Yes, sir.
Don't you have Casket Huffer on vinyl?
We called them on the phone that night, live on the show, and they called back. It's a death metal band out of fucking Montana, and they called us back, and we did a little impromptu interview.
They got great fucking cover art. I mean,
yeah.
What a fucking
let's call them, man. And Aaron found their number on their Facebook page, and we called them up and left them some ridiculous message. They called back, and we're like, "Hey, you're live on the internet." And just started asking, "It's like, what's tell us about the new record. You guys touring and whatever." But whatever. Last night I made the comment, and there may be some varying opinions on this, and I'm kind of late to the party. I have to say, like, I didn't grow up listening to Iron Maiden much. It was a little like if I was an only child. If you can't fucking tell.
Wow, that explains a lot.
Totally. But I didn't listen to Iron Maiden much. It was a little. That would have been like what if I had an older brother. That would have probably been like age wise would have probably been more appropriate. I was in like the grunge era, Metallica era, like later, late 80s, early 90s stuff. But anyway. So I never really got super into that stuff. And a band that I completely missed, I talked about them last night, not Stoner Doom, it's Helloween. And fucking love Helloween. I have fallen in love with this band. And I picked up their new record, came out in June. And they're fucking old men, man. And it's incredible. And I said, it's got to be the best record I've heard this whole year. The only exception, maybe a tie, is this one right here, Domecraft. Another band from Sweden. These guys from Sweden know what the fuck they're doing in terms of like Stoner Doom stuff. And you see this crazy ass cover. I'll show you some cool shit about this cover. What does that cover remind you of? Look at this gatefold. Jeepers creepers.
Whoa.
But first of all, it's got some nice looking, like whatever color you'd call that, purpley indica. I think they call it indigo.
Is that like a candy? I like those candy colors, man.
Yeah, yes, it does definitely got that candy vibe. But the coolest thing about this is also in the package. Check this out. Yeah. So this cover is 3D as hell, and it actually works. Unlike your late night movie back in the 80s where you had to go to 7-Eleven and get your glasses. This actually works. And actually it works even looking at the screen. It's pretty fucking crazy.
Oh, cool.
It is really that right there. Oh boy.
What are you seeing? Are the dinosaurs like forward or what's
that whole front scene of all the characters are like way forward.
Cool.
Really cool. Now, this gimmick shit aside, fucking phenomenal sounding record. It is imagine the gnarly guitar tones of Sleep. It's got a very Sleep vibe to the guitar tones, but imagine mixing Sleep with like Hawkwind. It has that jamminess, the psychedelic jamminess, space rock vibe mixed with Sleep. Incredible. If you've not checked this record, I forgot to put the fucking glasses in there. If you not check these guys out, man, it came out this year. They've got this. I think this is their third record. It is definitely worth checking out, man. And this was like I got this at a local shop. Actually, surprisingly, $21, man. So even with all the gimmick shit and the colored vinyl and the 3D glasses, still only $21. So It's not like hell. I paid Like that Danzig 4 I was playing last night, and it's not even that's a bootleg or unofficial release. That shit was $45.
Through who?
A local shop, but if you go to like the site where they're at, they're $45 too. So
wow, no shit.
The only place you can find it. So I guess they're like, you either want it or you don't, fuckface. So
yeah, you know, fucking Home Depot's doing the same thing with lumber. You either want to buy it or you don't. It's like, go fuck yourself. I don't care about the price. You know, interesting. Really quick, just a touch point. We're talking about this. Will the ceiling ever drop out of this resurgence in vinyl? Will there ever be an end to the insanity in prices? And my response was no, absolutely not. I don't see it ever stopping or going down ever again. What do you think about that?
My initial thought was, I know people. The baseball card analogy has been made, and I'm also a retro video game collector. It's very much has followed almost in the same path as retro video games, because just like, you know, a decade ago, you could find Beatles records for 50 cents in Goodwill and shit like that. Actually, maybe a little longer than that, but like the same way you could buy old Nintendo games for nothing because nobody gave a shit. That's old stuff. I want my, you know, my PS3, PS4 shit. Nowadays, and I picked up a lot of games like even when I started. Nowadays, the same game that you paid $5 for is going for $35. In the same way that, like, when I first started hardcore collecting, I sort of been collecting since the 90s, but not really. I mean, like, since hard and heavy like we're doing now, since like 2010 or so. And prime example, this is what I use as an example. Fleetwood Mac Rumors. Great record. I mean, everybody knows it, everybody loves it, whatever. That was Dollar City all day long, baby. It was in every dollar bin in the fucking world. And now it's like used $15.
I don't know where I've been. I don't know where I've been since that happened. Yeah, I thought that was an anomaly. I thought I heard one person say it like in bumfuck Egypt, and that was an anomaly. But you're telling me it's not. Now, I haven't been crate digging long enough to check any rumors, but are you really saying that they've doubled, tripled, and quadrupled, and even more?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for some things, and it's amazing because Jay mentioned last night somebody had a what album was it? Asia, like an Asia record, used for like $15 or $17. It was like we're like, get the fuck out of here. But like I said, I don't know, man. You look it up first. It may be actually going for that because this is a local shop owner. He doesn't just pull prices out of his ass. He looks stuff up and whatever. But back to the bubble talk. Because of that, and people kept saying that with retro video games, the bubble is going to burst and it's all going to be downhill. And people said that about records, and I said the same thing. I no longer think that to be the case. I think the paradigm has shifted. I think people are liking the physical medium. It's niche-y enough. It's hipstery enough, and it sounds good. So there's actually a quality thing there. Plus, people getting like digital downloads to go along with it. Fuck, even cassettes are making a comeback. People have never underestimate the nostalgia bone that you have in your body. It drives a lot of the decisions that I make in my entire life. Like I got up this morning, I was watching fucking Mask cartoons. I don't know if you remember the Mask toy line and cartoons, but never underestimate nostalgia and what a powerful factor that is to drive purchasing decisions or just life in general. Because I harken back to a time when the best time of my life is like when I was a kid, sounds kind of sad, but like, I think that music is the same way. You remember those times, and for a lot of people, records is that it's that, so I don't know. I don't think that it's going to be going anywhere soon. Personally,
I agree. I think it's here to stay. I think kind of like what Steve was saying generally is, as long as people are paying these outrageous prices, regardless of what generation you come from, it's going to continue to go up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Quick, side note, excuse me, that Hum LP that I just got inlet, it's from last year. That was around $36 after shipping. Now it's a double LP and it's 180 gram.
Yeah.
But it's come on, dude.
I'm a cheap ass. Like I started this whole deal was just a Goodwill kind of thing. It took me 2 or 3 years of digging before I finally went in and bought like a brand new LP. I never, ever did that. And it was a big deal when I did it. I remember the first time I spent more than $5. I thought I was a swinging dick. I went in there and I spent $8 on a damn LP. And everybody was like, what? And I've been getting everything for $1 in good stuff. So why am I going to spend out the wazoo for it,
That's exactly it, Zep. It's whatever someone is willing to pay. If they're willing to pay that insane price, what I don't like about that shit is that whole ideal is that bullshit sometimes tends to set the market price.
Yeah. Somebody's willing to do it. That drives it.
And if you got that douchebag that wants to pay $30 for fucking rumors, now when we want to go back and pay $1 because that's what we've been paying, we're not just essentially not going to buy it.
Well, Dome's got the comment here that that's why he's going back and buying CDs now, and that's what I've noticed is especially in terms of Goodwill, I find just complete piles of awesome CDs now. That's the stuff people don't care about anymore, and it's the same thing. And if I own something, I've come to the conclusion, unless it's something it's really important to me for whatever reason. If I own it on CD, I don't need the fucking record. Unless my CD's messed up or whatever, I don't need to go back and purchase something I already own, because CDs still sound pretty good, and some of them sound better than records. A lot nowadays they're squishing MP3s down on vinyl anyway and selling it for $30-$40. So it's nice to have the big thing in your hand, but at the end of the day, if I've got the CD, I'm vibing. I'm cool with it.
Yeah, I think that applies for most purchases as far as we go. Of course, there are some kind of spillovers where you end up having something on CD and you buy it on vinyl and you got it on cassette. Only a few. For me personally, I only have 5 or 6 multi-format type of things. But the Smashing Pumpkins reissue was complete shit. The Siamese Dream, I picked it up when it was reissued not too long ago.
I'm glad you said that, because I'm going to spend a lot of money on that.
And it's great packaging, heavy card stock.
It's pretty.
The vinyl it's very pretty. It's got the foil and all that, but it's obviously not to vinyl standards, man. It sounds tinny. The fucking CD sounded better than the vinyl. Yeah. Now, I don't know what happened there.
Well, here's another thing where my local shop, he gets, I guess they've only been pressed one time, Melancholy and Infinite Sadness, but they're boots, because you can't find that they've not been an official repress, I guess. And the boots are he's like, hey man, I'll put you one aside. And I'm like, oh, that's, now, how do I say how fucking much are they before I say, yeah, thanks, do that. They're $70. I've got the double CD down here. Sounds fantastic. I mean, it cannot be that much better, like a bootleg slab of wax over the original CDs. No way.
No, not in that case anyway.
No,
sure. I couldn't believe a CD actually sounded better than fucking vinyl.
Yeah, it happens.
That was a hefty, that's a big, thick package. I mean, that is big. That's thicker than most of the gatefolds I got. Wider.
I was kind of mad that I didn't pull the trigger on that, because it's one of those that it floated around for a long time, and it was $35 around here. Yeah, and then cameraman just brought me a little shot of liquor. How about that?
Oh shit!
Hey. Cheers, everybody.
Okay. Well, hold on a minute. Why don't you show a record real quick? Let me get a shot. Hold on.
Oh yeah, pour you one up.
Hold on. Let me inflate you. You can show something.
Okay. Let's see. What do I want to show? Okay, this is kind of a wild card. Another band from Sweden. I don't know what it is, and another Rod and Easy band. Salem's Pot. And the name of this, I don't know how to say that. Lunar ut dig pa perine. But this is 2014, I believe. And these guys are they're a little bit different in the fact that they it's thicker, doomier riffs, and they're really into this horror movie occult kind of vibe. You can see by the pictures that they use.
Somebody shut that damn dog up.
Yeah, I think somebody's here. Oh, never mind.
Get the bat.
but you can see that, you can see the vibe of this record, and it kind of sounds like it looks. The only thing is they kind of sound like Mono Lord in a way, but I say that because they kind of sound like the singing, which is it's a pretty unique style of singing that's not for everybody. It's got this like kind of whiny, drony kind of sound. It's not my favorite stoner doom stuff, but the riffs are killer. They just have this it's kind of watery. Whiny may be the wrong way of saying it, because that sounds like, you know, some kind of pussy singer-songwriter stuff, but it's not that, but like it's you know, it's definitely different.
It sounds like maybe he's trying to be unsettling, maybe, with the way he's
like if you know, like Mono Lord on Empress Rising, yeah, in the chorus, Empress Rising, it's kind of chanty. It's kind of sounds like that, but I don't think they do it quite as well as Mono Lord.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I got a little
little Midnight Moon. Boy, we ain't drank. Is that apple pie?
Yeah, it's apple pie.
We hadn't had moonshine down here in a long time. We used to drink it a lot on the show, but
here's to you guys. Thanks for coming by and hanging out.
Cheers, everybody. I'm right, whiny. Yeah, I mean, you know, we know when I hear whiny, the connotation I think of with whiny is like, you know, somebody crying about losing their girlfriend or some shit. But yeah, it is kind of whiny.
Okay, here you go. Are you into maybe you like doom? Perhaps you like doom rock, partially created by a guy that beats his mom up. Are you into geriatric, harming geriatric folks?
And heroin.
Because if you are, Pentagram's the band for you. I'm just kidding. Actually, I'm not kidding. Bobby Liebling got thrown in jail a few years back for beating his mom up. But that doesn't take away from the fact that this is cool. Although I stopped listening to it for a little while after I heard he beat his mom up. Because
yeah, it's pretty shitty.
It ain't cool to beat your mom up. But I just wanted to show some quintessential doom, man. This is also prototypical doom. This goes back far enough that you can consider this 70s relentless. Yeah. My favorite entry as far as Pentagram's concerned. And
a lot of people say they're even more pioneers of doom than Sabbath is, honestly.
Who would have said that?
I mean,
what kind of person would say that?
I think it's pretty. It's you know, both are pretty influential. I don't, you know.
Yeah.
Metal Theologian.
There's not a lot to say about. What's up, Aaron? How you doing, bud? There's not a ton to say about some of these bands, but I just wanted to bring them up so we could go over them.
It's a great document. Have you ever seen the documentary about Bobby Liebling?
Yeah, last days here, I think it's called, like the album, right?
I think so. Yeah, it's good. I mean, he's what a pathetic soul he is, but you know,
he's
God bless him.
He's right over the bridge. You know, I'm South Jersey, and when all that's taking place, that's 20 minutes away from me, right over the bridge of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But I wonder if Bobby ever got his shit together. I don't know. I heard, he had a kid, and then I heard he got divorced, and he's by himself again. He'd beaten his mom up in the basement.
What a crazy
yeah. Listen to some Pentagram and consider slapping your mom, maybe.
Absolutely. And if you don't want to, if you're uncomfortable with that, call me. I'll come slap her. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, we'll consider that a free service.
Yeah. I got one for you. This is something I picked up in the last 6 months or so. A band I've really admired for a long time. It's got a lot of releases. This is a reissue that came out. I was happy they reissued this. Wofat. You familiar with Wofat? These guys are tremendous.
Oh yeah. I wondered if he named that band after that guy from Hawaii 5-0. Remember McGarrett's arch enemy was like Wofat or something?
Yeah, that's funny. I've never thought of that. But the name of this album is Psychedela Not. Originally came out in I don't know. I can't remember. It's a 2021. Ripple Music is the one that reissued that. That's a great. You got it. Ripple is one of those labels you trust. I know Metal Theologian trusts them, and I've recently picked something up just based on the label with them. Talk about that in a couple of minutes. But these guys are out of Texas, and I mentioned this when Dusty Hill died. We were talking about ZZ Top, and ZZ Top's one of those bands that, you know, metalheads like them, punk rockers like them, just regular old mom and dads like them. It's one of those bands, whatever. But anyway, even though this is a stoner doom rock, this is white with a little orange, kind of a creamsicle thing. It's hard to show up. But you really hear, even though this is stoner doom stuff, you really hear that Texas ZZ Top influence in the riff writing in this album. It's there. And what a great vibe that is. Like the mixture of that down home Texas barbecue kind of vibe. Actually, Texas ain't real barbecue. Barbecue's pig, motherfucker. North Carolina.
Testify, man.
But anyway, this it's a killer record, and it's a great little twist on the stoner vibe that you can hear that ZZ Top coming through there, man. You know, that's fucking love ZZ Top. Who doesn't? And really kick ass stuff, man.
Yeah. I love your reference for ZZ Top. Fucking perfect, you know.
Yeah.
And you were playing on your show last night, Grown Man Record Night. They're on Fridays at midnight on YouTube. Check them out.
Look at you re-racking, just like a radio host.
I'm trying to earn my money here. That's all. I'm just trying to earn my pay. And you played. Somebody cashed in some bucks, and you played a side of ZZ Top's first album.
Yeah.
And just listening to that, I was telling you, the rhythm section, Frank Beard, he's so fucking tight. He's got such a unique style. The way he'll play on an upbeat and then he'll play on a downbeat, but in such a unique way that you'd never really catch it until you tried to actually play it. And then you'd realize this dude is putting down beats that are just really complicated and in a very simple manner, but trying to extract them and work them out is extremely difficult. And
Absolutely.
A very, very fast lead hand, a very fluid hand, 30 seconds all day long. Beard can run 30 seconds all day long without breaking a sweat. It's great. I fucking love Frank Beard.
And you know what's crazy? Like, since we're talking stoner doom stuff here, you hear almost every classic stoner doom band mention ZZ Top as a major influence. You hear ZZ Top. I thought about pulling out some of the what does this kind of lineage go back to? ZZ Top, Mountain, Grand Funk, Blue Cheer, like that kind of stuff. But all of the quintessential stoner doom band. I don't know about doom as much, but stoner bands all are huge fans of ZZ Top, and it's it's funny for a kid my age.
Hey,
when I was a kid, I knew ZZ Top. I was a kid of the '80s, so I knew the MTV videos, the cool videos with the hot cars and the hot chicks and the keychains, and it wasn't until way later that they're like a fucking blues band. I'm like a real blues band. I'm like, come on, what are you talking about? It was a long time before I went back and heard. I'd heard the other songs on the radio, but the first album, I mean, mind blowing. What a terrific album that is. I was probably in my fucking 30s before I heard that.
Yeah. Wow.
I'd heard Trace Ombre some. I heard, Tush and, LaGrange, of course, and stuff like that. But none of that first album stuff. And it was so killer.
Pretty killer shit. I know we're jumping off track a bit, but you could argue that some of those riffs slowed down could easily be doom riffs,
Totally.
For me, growing up, luckily, my old man and my brother were big fans of ZZ Top. Matter of fact, I remember them going to see ZZ Top for the Cheap Sunglasses tour, and it really upset me because I was too young to go. And he told me about the lasers that came out when they were doing Cheap Sunglasses. The first song I remember hearing and absorbing and going, this is really fucking odd, is Manic Mechanic. That fucking drum beat, where he's on the cowbell.
Yeah.
He's working the top end of it. It's insane, the shit he does, and how simple you may think it sounds.
Yeah.
try and replicate it, and you'll see it's not simple.
And they have the stoner vibe, and like again that word I hate because that
it's
indicates
it
indicates you're just fucking burn out or whatever, and that's not necessarily the case, but sometimes it's the case. But like they have that vibe of like they're playing good, hard bluesy rock and roll, but it's all about good times and good vibes. All the songs are kind of funny and goofy and like still kick ass, but it's not about like, oh, my life and my girlfriend and I'm gonna fucking die. It's about like drinking beers and having a good time. That's kind of that stoner vibe to me a lot of times. Anyway,
and I think they fit in perfect. You could easily play Sabbath, Cadaver, what else? Brant Bjork and fucking ZZ Top in the same breath. I mean, if Brant Bjork doesn't say ZZ Top is one of his top 2, I'd be disappointed.
Yep, agreed.
They fit in very well. So who's up? You? I think you're up next, right?
I can't remember. Let's see.
We'll go on then.
I've got 4 left. No, wait, 5 left.
Okay, same here.
Okay. So I talked about this. We're doing a little contest. For those that don't know, we're doing a 600 subscriber contest based on the blind buys of covers. Like just you're buying records solely based on the cover. You didn't know shit about the band. And this is one of the ones I did in the video. It's a band called Basque. And I saw this cover and I was like, that looks like, actually it reminded me of Baroness, who I like, but not enough to go out and buy a shit ton of their records or whatever. I like Baroness, but I'm not eat up with them. But it had that kind of vibe of the artwork and shit. And not to mention, again, I'm a cheap ass. This sumbitch was $3.99. And I was like, this has got to be something. And so lo and behold, it turns out this is a stoner rock act from close to my way. They're from like the Asheville, North Carolina, which is a couple hours from here. And a lot more on the jammier psychedelic side of stoner, but still some nice, thick, fuzzy riffs. But much more jammy, really killer stuff. They got a newer album that came out too, but if you've ever run into Basque, it's one of those low key sleepers, man. You're going to want to check out. Give it a stream.
What year is that, Mike? What year is that, bud?
This is, it's on Wonder Records, by the way. Let's see if I got something on the inner sleeve here. I don't know. I want to say like 2014, but
okay.
I'm looking on the thing here. I don't see it. It's in the last several years. How's that for a wide swath? No, I don't know. I'll check. If you show one, I'll look it up real quick.
Excuse me. Sounded like James there for a minute. That was for you. If you're watching, James, if you're watching, buddy, that burp was for you, man.
Go ahead and bust one out, dude.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Now you got me on the sauce.
2014. I was right. See, I should have just
2014. Okay. Well, now we're just jumping straight up fucking stoner.
Oh wait.
What happened? What?
Hey, maybe I'm gonna show Metal Theologian. We'll see that cover again real quick.
Hold on. Okay.
He was unloading groceries. Bless his heart. Said he's gonna give me shit about my barbecue comment. Are you telling me that beef is real barbecue? Come on.
It is not. Get the hell out.
Oh, he's a brisket guy. Now I do like brisket.
No, I do dig brisket, but I know it's the butter's on also.
Yeah. We just call that brisket. It ain't barbecue. Whatever.
My grandma used to say, "We know what side the butter's on, baby." So little Brant Bjork, straight up table fare. You know what I mean? You want the main course? Here it is, Brant. Mankind Woman. It's another one of those situations. This is a fucking great album, by the way. This is not just him, like some of his shit is, like Jalamanta and all those kind of things. He's got a whole band with him on this one. Yeah. But it's cool. Got chocolate ties and all that kind of stuff on it. It's cool.
I like the stuff in the bands better than I do is like, solo kind of acoustic-y stuff. And that stuff's good too. But
yeah. I just forgot to inflate myself. I'm really good at inflating myself. I should have known. That.
You and me both, baby.
Oh, yeah. You get good at some shit after a while. So what I don't like, the album is fucking great. The music is great. Love it. 10 all day long. I don't like the fact that it's paper thin and fucking shitty packaging for fucking like $30 again.
Yeah.
Another one of those $30 situations, man.
I'll take something else that I love all of Brant Bjork stuff, but the albums are kind of short. Those are short albums. I mean, I don't think there's one that tops 30 minutes. So you'll pay full album price, and I mean, it's in the old school 70s sense. It's essentially an EP. Nowadays, EP means fucking 15 minutes, but like back in the day, it was like 30 because full albums were goddamn an hour and plus.
Yeah. Interesting. EP. The whole EP controversy is mostly spurred by a recent release, and that would be King Buffalo's Dead Star.
Mm-hmm.
And that they call an EP. It's over 30 minutes. So when is an EP not an EP?
Mental Theologian makes a great point. Said short albums are blessings. As much as I love getting my money's worth for what I'm paying for, I do love, especially borscht, when we're doing the show, that like I can put like, what did I play last night? Blues Project. 60s kind of psyche folk stuff. And at some point I'm sitting here and I'm looking at Jay and I'm like, how fucking long is this side of this record? Like I was just, we typically play album sides here, but I'm like, I feel like we've been listening to this record for like an hour and a half. And I'm like, I love it, but like, I'm kind of over it right now. But so short records, that's why, and I'm going to get into this in a future episode, but like, oh, kitty cat.
Don't step on the keyboard now.
That's what allures me about like punk 7 inches is that, couple of songs on a side, maybe even 3 if they're short, cool artwork, kind of hit them and quit them kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of appeals to me in a way, and not much money. They're cheaper too. So anyway, we'll talk about that later.
It's got its place. And a good example of that would be, what was that album I was just thinking about? My cat came up and started bothering me. There's a 30, the obvious one I was talking about was King Buffalo. But another one is actually the one that I showed earlier, Wretch.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a really long album either, but it's fucking perfect. Time-wise, it's perfect, man.
Yeah.
Any longer, it would be too much.
Yeah. And, especially when you get the vibe that, like, guys are putting some fucking filler on here to try to make it like a full album or whatever. It's like,
Yeah. And I get that a little bit, with bands like Earthless. I fucking adore Earthless, man.
Yep.
To the moon. There isn't a single thing I don't like. Having said that, it can get a bit long-winded, you know what I mean?
I also love Earthless, but it's actually what's kept me from buying their albums on vinyl is that how much do I want to hear somebody standing on that fucking wah pedal like for fucking 20 minutes, and I'm like, all right, dude, I get it. Like, unless I'm shrooming my nuts off, I don't really need that. You know what I mean? But
it's got its place for sure, definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Brant Bjork.
Okay.
Now, if you want, I'll just show the second one real quick, and since it's related, and then you can.
Yeah.
So the second one, Brant related, was this is the Bros, Brant Bjork and the Bros.
And the Bros, I love it, man.
Oh no, I'm sorry, Low Desert Punk. I'm sorry, this is Low Desert Punk. I'm sorry.
Speaking of which, have you seen that little short film? It's just a couple of minutes long, called Brant Bjork Buys Beer.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
He walks up to the store to get himself a six-pack.
I'll go with the lights because the prices are right. I love that. That's one of my favorite things on YouTube ever, man.
I think you got what do you get, a 12 or a 6?
You got a 12 or a Miller Lite. Actually, I'm going to grab a Miller Lite in a second, actually.
12 of cans, right? Yeah, that's great. So, I just wanted to show those two. Quintessential stoner.
It's funny, like playing off of that, because, Brant Bjork, legend, obviously drummer from Caius, played some other groups, played Fu Manchu, the solo stuff. But a stalwart in that low desert scene, in California, Palm Desert. And what really drew me in is, and then this does this the same way that, like, it's not even like with black metal. It's not so much the music that I love about black metal. It's the lore and the stories and the kind of the history of like the scene. It's interesting. It makes for good documentary fodder, if you know what I mean. And desert rock is the same thing. That scene has this kind of story and history to it that I fucking love, man. Like the stories of the desert parties. They would the generator parties. They would drag these generators out in the middle of the desert, and all these bands would play and just have their own shows by their own rules, people drinking, doing drugs, and they had all these different kinds of bands. And that's the point here is you would have a band like Caius go out and play. And at the same time, and that's, you get your aggression out and you're shoving your buddies and chugging beers and shit. And then at the same time, Yawning Man would play. Another absolute, pioneer of that desert rock scene. And these guys are essentially glorified surf rock. But I can see how that went down. Like you get that aggression out early, and then Yawning Man is like that late night chill vibe. So you're chugging beers and bench pressing shit, and then late at night you're fucking smoking doobs and try to hit on your lady. This is a Yawning Man record that came out, and it's got Mario, the Lolly brothers, Mario and what's his brother's name? Actually, his brother's not on this one, but Mario and Larry Lolly.
That was a Nintendo joke, by the way.
What did you say, Luigi?
Luigi.
Fucker. But this is on Heavy Psych Records. Came out. This is one of the more modern Yawning Man deals that came out, but this music sounds like driving in the desert at night. I've never been to the desert, so I'm just whatever it becomes in my own mind. But I love this band to death, and it's actually how I met Zonkman. We were in the same record store, and he had picked up, I don't know if it was this one or it was another one, and he had set it flat because he was going to buy it. And I was like, "Oh, is that your Yawning Man?" And he was like, "Oh yeah." And he's like, "Oh, do you want it?" I'm like, "No." I was like, "Fuck." I was happy to meet somebody that knew who the fuck Yawning Man was,
right?
So we started talking, but it's interesting that bands that sound so different came from the same scene, and that all those people, for the most part, at least from my understanding, got along pretty well and understood each other and kind of worked together. I think that's really fucking cool because the dynamics between punk bands and metal bands, and like, fuck you guys with your fucking shaved heads and your studded jackets, you pussies. And, and they're like, "Oh yeah, your long hair, you look like my sister, your high tops and tight jeans, you thrash pussy." Those kind of things happen in local scenes all the time, just within genres. It's interesting to see how, like, out there, I guess it was such a small community that just didn't happen to that extent. At least in my head, it didn't. But I always thought that was really cool.
Yeah. Can you imagine being around for that? Because it's something you just had to be there for. You had to be in with somebody that knew, a local thing, or very maybe semi-regional, It's just generator parties, man.
There's a really killer video on YouTube of one of the big generator parties that Caius played. It's a Caius video. And so I'm watching this and I'm like, "Man, this is so fucking killer." And I scroll down and like the first comment is somebody that, like they do, will like break down like track listings. Like, here's where certain songs start or whatever. And it's a good buddy of mine from college that actually lives in Raleigh, who's a good friend of Cameron's as well, Dave.
I know Dave.
Yeah, I'm watching this Caius video and I just happen to scroll down and Dave has done the track listing just randomly. I'm like, fucking A. And apparently I'm taking another shot. Fucking
hey,
A.
I just had one too, man. Here's to you guys. We still got 12 people hanging out, and I appreciate that because it's pretty much been 12 or 13 people the whole time.
Hell yeah.
I appreciate you people hanging out, man, on a Saturday. Right. If you're digging it, man, we'll do it again. I wanted to show this. You know this one, Mike?
I don't. What is that?
This is Shrine Builder.
Shrine Builder.
This is the super group, Super Doom super group. This has got Wino. This has Al. This has what's his face from Melvin's drummer. And the one guy I don't like, I always forget his name because I refuse to retain his name because I don't like him. But he screams a lot. Anyway, I forget the guy's name. This is a great fucking album, man. This is fucking Doom.
Wow. I'll check this out, man.
This one song alone, Solar Benediction and Pyramid of the Moon.
I was gonna say, it's Doom because there's like 4 songs and it's a double LP.
Yeah, this is a double LP. This may be etched. Hold on. I may have something etched to show. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's cool. Yeah.
There's snakes in there.
I love that shit. That almost makes up for the fact you're getting shitted on the side of a record, but
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that shit. Actually, I prefer a dead side like Second Winter, Johnny Winter, that you can
yeah.
use to set your anti-skate on your turntable.
Oh yeah,
Give
yeah.
me something I can fucking use.
Well, it's funny because, like, I'm a big Boards of Canada fan, and I knew the album, like Gio Gotti. It's a fantastic Boards of Canada album, but I knew the album and I knew all the tracks and whatever. Then I bought the record, and so it's like a double LP, but the fourth side is an etch, and I'm like, well, okay, I'm not expecting any more. I know how long the album is, so the added etch is like, that's cool because I wasn't expecting anything more.
Yeah, I'm curious what the process is because it doesn't feel like an etch. It feels like something kind of glued to the surface. I don't know. It's not. It's like debossed. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not embossed by any means.
Convex, not concave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of those weird shapes that don't make any sense. But I have literally, real etched LPs.
Yeah.
And it's not that. I think they're glued, some kind of glued on sheet on top.
Yeah.
So I only had one more to show after that, and that's kind of a little bit unrelated to Doom, but not really. We talked about it earlier, so feel free to. You got something else to show?
I got three more, and I'll bust them. There's two I'll do real quick. I wanted to say I picked these up just a couple weeks ago. We did them on the show, but if you guys, another Rod and Easy release, Warish. I cannot recommend this band enough. This is Tony Hawk's son's band, Riley Hawk, and it's not. I wouldn't put it. May not even be a stoner doom thing. To me, it sounds like grunge, and I don't mean that pejoratively. This is like the real true definition of grunge, like Tad or Melvins. But it sounds like Nirvana's Bleach, but rawer. Ooh. A little more screamy, hollering. Obviously, fans of Motorhead, like that kind of vibe. And these guys do it right. This is their first record. Down in Flames. They had another one that came out. I need to pick it up as well. It doesn't sound tuned down to fucking F and low and chuggy. It's got punk vibes. It's got stoner vibes. It's got sludgy vibes, and just really cool. And initially it's just like, oh, but it's Riley Hawk. It's Tony Hawk's son and stuff. But he's a cool kid, man. This kid's kind of got it going on. And
saying it's got a Motorhead type of vibe.
Actually, he's wearing a Motorhead shirt in this picture. Actually,
yeah. See, now in a way, I almost couldn't tell. That could be 30 years old or a year old.
And this is kind of what Mental Theologian. I don't know if you heard earlier. I was mentioning your comment about this kind of subgenre of stoner doom stuff where it's like that 70s throwback homage tribute kind of shit, and how there's that fine line between doing that right and doing something unique and that's actually a tribute and going over into that corny territory where you dress like you're in 1974, bruh, and like that's fucking stupid. But that being said, if I had a full collection of leisure suits, I would wear them every fucking day of my life. But that's neither here nor there. Warish is where it's at. Check them out, man. Really cool stuff. This is one of those bands I talk shit about, not shit, but like talked them up for like a year. Hey, this band came out, it's got the new record, but it's fucking awesome. And it took me a year to actually buy it because I'm just cheap and lazy. At that so that was brand new. I picked this up locally. It took that showing up locally in my shop for me to like, okay, buy it. It was like $20.
Yeah.
In this same shop, I go over and I'm start just like feverishly flipping through the used stuff because I was really just going to buy some reissue stuff. But in there, I see this Ape Machine live at Freak Valley. The cover kind of caught me. I was like, that looks like, I don't really know Ape Machine, but that looks like something. And I know Freak Valley. A lot of stoner doom bands will do live sets and actually have live albums from Freak Valley. I've seen that before. I think maybe not Elder. I think it's Conan maybe had done some stuff from Freak Valley.
Yeah.
I should have pulled them out. Fuck, I don't know what I'm talking
about. And Stoner.
Yeah.
Stoner did Freak Valley.
Yep. So I knew that, and then I turned it over, and I saw this right here. Wrong side, stupid. Ripple Music.
Oop, hold on.
So it's on the Ripple label. And so I like, oh, that's got to be something. And so I think I did sample it in the store. But check this out. You open it up. Not only does it have, let's see if the wax is anything crazy. Now it's good old fashioned black wax, but it's got some nice little center labels. So this is a live set, obviously. And it's much more on that 70s hard rock. Jesus fucking Christ. I hate the way LP sleeves are put together. It's got the little tabs that you hang on when you're trying to shove them back in there. It makes me want to smash shit. But it's a great live set that it sounds phenomenal. I'm not a live set guy. I'm real like I want to hear studio albums most of the time. Not because
that was something I was going to bring up in the middle of what you were saying.
Yeah, I don't.
I know you're not huge on the live stuff as far as buying LPs.
You know, Vance has actually turned me around on that some because I realized that there is some stuff that's done live that's done really well, and to not just turn your back on it. Much in the way I've talked about this, you back to like Halloween. I was like, I have no interest in listening to these fucking 50-year-old men try to make rock and roll music. That's nearsighted, and I've taken that back because I was wrong. Because there's some killer shit I'm missing because of that. Live, the same thing. But anyway, back to this. Not only does it have this killer live set, it's got the fucking DVD of the performance inside.
Wow,
yeah. I've not checked it out yet, actually. Nice gatefold and the DVD of the. I mean, I knew Ripple Metal Theologian, but like I wasn't. I didn't trust them to where I was like, gotta have them kind of thing, you know.
Now I've got a question for you guys. Who are you marketing these days? Who are you really into right now that you're pushing? Like there was a time I mentioned earlier when before Aaron showed up, and he was turning me on to bands like Kalevala.
Yeah.
So who out there, Aaron Griffin or Aaron Theo or Steve? Who are you guys into right now that you just want to tear someone's ear off and tell them to fucking listen? Because for a long time it was bands like Wretch and Egypt and bands like that not many people knew. Of course, King Buffalo was a huge one I was really pushing.
Yeah.
So what about you guys? And on that, I'll show something that's a little bit unrelated, but actually still, as I spoke about this earlier, it actually does pertain to what we're talking about. This is Hum. This is Inlet.
So did they not do, how many records did they have total? Did they take like a 20-year break and come back and do this?
Yes, they did. And that's what this one is. Yeah.
Interesting.
Just sparse, but it's kind of indicative of the music. You know, I was a little pissed off that there wasn't drawings and skeletons and stuff, but this really does show a lot of what the feel of this LP is, or the vibe. You know, they jump around, but like I said before, it has a cohesion. They're straight up hard rock, really heavy, hooky, doom riffs, straight up doom riffs. Things ethereal, things with an ethereal feel. The lyrical content and the way the vocals are recorded and worked, it has a very ethereal feel to it. Like I mentioned Rob Crow before because this reminds me a lot of Rob Crow in a way. Like he did stuff in Pinback and bands like that.
Yeah.
But the vocals reminded me of a Rob Crow type of feel, where it's almost a little bit. It could be construed as depressing, but if you see past the thin veil, you'll see that there's so much more content there to really grab onto.
Yeah.
So I snagged this up. I was telling you earlier that this is one of those instances where YouTube Music kind of told me, you know, if you may like this because of things you've heard, recommendations. And I heard the one song Waves, and I fucking loved it, man. I pulled up the rest of the LP and I listened to it for a few days like you did. Like I wanted to hear it and hear it and hear it to make sure I was just maybe not in some emotional situation. It made me attach myself to this more, and I could possibly not be feeling that way in an hour. So I listened to it for days. And I decided I really fucking loved it and bought it and paid a crazy amount of money, $35 or $6 shipped. And that kind of was what got us started on this whole ceiling of the whole vinyl ceiling and when is it going to come crashing down?
Oh yeah,
It's not,
totally.
we've already established it's not going to come crashing down.
No, not, or at least not anytime soon, anyway.
No, not any time that we can even possibly foresee.
Right.
So, yeah.
So I got one more.
Show away. Let me inflate.
So this actually, Steve played another album from these guys last night, and the reason I saved this for last, it is absolutely within the stoner doom crowd. It would be the Redheaded Stepchild, and actually, Aaron Griffin mentioned Elder. Elder is one of my, if not my favorite bands in the genre, and I refrain from showing them because I hype the fuck out of Elder all the time anyway. So anyway, I refrain from Elder. Probably my favorite in the genre right now for the last few years. Steve showed this band last night, another one. This is the debut, I believe, from a band called Titan. These guys are out of New York, and see what this is on Relapse Records. Don't really see a lot of stoner stuff coming out of Relapse, but I can't even remember what this looks like inside. The interesting thing about these guys that really sets them apart from the rest of the stoner doom crowd, and it's a track that Elder has kind of taken here in the last few years, is have started out as kind of a rudimentary stoner improvised. Oh, some nice color here. Improvised stoner jam kind of stuff, and it started including progressive elements into it, like prog rock kind of stuff. Now, don't take that in a bad way. I know a lot of people that are into like punk or metal or even stoner kind of stuff. You mentioned prog rock, and people start heading for the fucking door. It's not what you're thinking. They just started invoking a little bit more musicianship into some of the stoner type motifs. And I'll say that a lot of what drew me to stoner rock in the beginning, I think, was the simplicity of it all and the emphasis on solid songwriting and riff writing, not just songwriting, but riff writing. And that's what I'm all about. I call myself a fucking riff lord. I can write 30 fucking songs a day. They're not going to sound like Eddie Van Halen, but I write fucking riffs. It's what the fuck I do. And that's stoner and doom kind of stuff is kind of like that. It's based around the riff. And as much as I love that, I can't get this in here and I'm about to fucking sling it across the goddamn room. As much as I love that shit, it's interesting to see some folks take a different approach with it and start realizing like, okay, we're writing riffs, but we're also actually tight musicians that can do a little bit more with the genre. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, like punk rock, if you went too far with that, they would, you know, you get shunned like the fucking Catholic Church or some shit. But, and I think a lot there's a functional element to this, to why that stoner and doom stuff is kind of limited with how much you can do this, because unlike traditional heavy metal or chunka kind of stuff, like gent, as the kids say nowadays,
Gent.
Yeah, most of stoner and doom stuff is based around the fuzz pedal, thick, gnarly, Velcro ripping, which is my favorite way to describe a good fuzz pedal. Sounds like fucking Velcro ripping. That noise is perfect, but you can't be intricate with that type of sound. The little nuances of doing specific little musician-y things doesn't come through with doing that. So it's interesting to see a band take that kind of, Elder does it too, introducing prog type elements into music like that. Because imagine if you're playing Dream Theater shit, but you're using fuzz pedals rather than like amp distortion. Mm-hmm. It would sound like a goddamn fucking mess.
Yeah.
Because there's just it's not the same kind of thing. So anyway, you don't hear a lot of that intricate musicianship in stoner and doom stuff. And it's nice to see somebody kind of bring that type of vibe into it and do some good stuff with it. I got it. So check out Titan. They're out of New York. I bought this for $4.99. and it's fantastic. Steve liked it so much that he picked up another one that he saw, somewhere else, in a shop or whatever. So anyway, that's all I got.
Yeah, real quick, right here.
Yeah,
I've been playing this recently.
Whew.
I've been going back into the Brown Acid series.
Yeah,
of course, some of you guys may know that I've had the entire Brown Acid series put onto 8-track. I'm sorry to say that my 8-track guy is no longer doing it.
Oh no.
His fucking competition wants like 15 times more to do it. So it actually is going to end up, if I paid, it would be like 4 times more than an actual fucking album. So I'm not going to do it anymore. But
I love your 8-track thing you do, man. That's so fucking killer. It's so fucking killer.
See, these took a lot of time to make. This was all laid out. All these ideas were laid out in these font and stuff. And it was all taken from Riding Easy's album, but they're all formatted to be on an 8-track. He even laid out all the literature here and the listings and stuff. And he even put his own little, down here in the corner.
That's really cool.
He put his little symbol, emo cow. So I was playing I played them all actually over the past week, but the first trip is one I really like.
Oh yeah.
I played this one today, which is the 9th trip.
Ooh, on pink? Was that like salmon?
Yeah, you could call this like flamingo pink. It's looking a little pale on this one, but this is and I chose all these cards to match according to the artwork and stuff like that. But more of the same thing, really cool pictures he put in there, and you could see it's on really nice glossy stock, and he put his name up there, emo cow. Excuse me. So I've been enjoying these 8-tracks, and they all sound really nice. They sound at least as nice as the LP does, because they're pulling from all kinds of different sources. So when people say I'd rather have it on vinyl, that wouldn't really apply to this situation, because they're taking things that came from cassettes and reel-to-reel tape and
God knows what.
Fucking what's that wild wire system where they fed things through a wire?
Oh yeah, probably. Oh yeah, some boombox recordings. That's what's funny is you can find rare underground DC punk compilation from 1981, and you buy it for $35, and all of it was recorded with a goddamn boombox.
Yeah. So this is an instance where I said, and I'm very limited. I'm very choosy about what I decide to put on 8-track. And the first thing I thought was this Brown Acid series is perfect because it's varies. The quality of these songs vary. So there wouldn't be a situation where there's any kind of loss in fidelity.
Oh yeah.
And these sound as good as a good high-end cassette. Trust me, they really fucking do.
And nobody else has that shit. I mean,
no, I don't know a single person you show me one fucking person on the planet that even has one Brown Acid fucking series on 8-track, and I will fucking chew on your shoe for a half an hour.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's kind of just a little bonus to all of that is, nobody's got that shit.
I like to I just get off on that kind of fun shit, you know what I mean? But it's very limited on the stuff I do, but I'd like to show that more in the future.
Hell yeah.
Let's see. Dome and all, man, you guys are great, man. Abacus, how you doing?
See Abacus and Scotty Stricknon in here, some G.M.R.N.
Scotty Stricknon's here. We got all the big guys here. All the big names are hanging out tonight. I appreciate you guys hanging with us. I'm having a really good fucking time.
Hell yeah.
I don't want to keep Mikey up past his bedtime.
I'll turn into a pumpkin after a while.
What Dome say? Yeah, he's going to buy an 8-track recorder. So get yourself a nice Pioneer recorder, a player that records. I've got a nice one that I can actually record on.
Nice.
Now, I'm forced at this point to try to make my own. I'll never do as good a job as this guy.
Man, I remember the stereo I had growing up, or that my parents had. It had like an 8-track in the front, and they had like this little adapter, like the 8-track to cassette adapter, where you could put the cassette in it and then shove it in the 8-track hole.
Yeah,
that was so cool. I love shit like that.
So again, twice as bad.
Draped in nostalgia is the way I'll fucking pass, baby.
I remember it in the car. I remember it. It didn't have that soft, the soft open didn't have that. It was like, psh. When you went to open that cassette door, it's like, bang.
Yep. What do you think of Admiral Sir Cloudsley Shovel? The fuck are you talking?
is that did he invent the iron lung? I don't know.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
I think Aaron's trying to sound smarter than we are. So I don't really appreciate that kind of shit here, Aaron.
I think he's on dope. I think he's actually on dope.
I think he is on the dope. I think he's all doped up on the weed.
I think we need to piss test him. A good way to piss test him. He can piss right on my chest.
Or we'll get him a bucket. I think we can borrow a bucket from somebody and he can piss in that.
Mikey just wants to go play Vanguard. Hey, look now. There is the alpha this weekend, but it's PS5 only, and I'm PC, baby. PC master race, you know.
Hey, PC all the way. On that note, listen, I'd like to thank everybody, including Hank. I was going to thank Hank alone, but I figured I'd thank everybody. So let me thank Hank for showing up and everyone else, all 13 of you, which is, by the way, that's my lucky number.
Hell yeah.
Maybe we can get you back again and we can make this a kind of semi-regular thing if you've got
Love to do it, man. Had a good time, man.
I had a great time. It's good. It's a good flow. It was easy to talk. I like that kind of thing. Not a lot of...
Contrary to popular belief, I am actually conscious the day after record night.
Yeah, because if
alive and well.
Yeah, if you gauged it on anything by watching your show, you wouldn't want anything to do with this guy.
I'm getting ready. We're getting ready. Cameron stopped over. He lives a couple hours away. Cameron stopped over. Jay just walked in the house. We're getting ready to do some edibles and fucking watch some professional putting events. The putt tournaments from the 80s.
Do it up, man.
Like edibles and the Skins game hosted by Billy Packer. We're getting ready to watch those, and the night's just getting started.
Do it up. My night's just getting started too. I'd like to thank everybody once again for showing up. Dome, thanks for coming by. Aaron Griffin, Steve, the other Aaron, and the other Aaron, Abacus, Scotty Strychnine, and everybody that I missed. I had some shine. I normally don't drink, so here we go. The bubbles went to my head.
Oh yeah.
I'll see you guys soon. I appreciate you hanging out. So,
hey, dude, virtual fist bump in the window.
Where? Oh, wait a minute. Wait. Sorry. Wait. No. Wait. Here.
There we go.
Boom. Take it easy, guys. We'll see you next time.
Appreciate you guys.